We continue with more more prophecies of Yirmiyahu to the nations. Parak Mem Chet, chapter 48. Moab. So now we have Moab, and if you remember, of course, Moab is the son and grandson of Lot. So it's a cousin in a sense of Avraham. Lot is the right. He's roofied would be the term today by his daughters because they think they're the only ones left in the world, and they sleep with him, and they have two kids. One is named Moab, one is named Ammon, and they are the progenitors of these nations who became enemies of Israel. So, Moab, Israel, Hoyel Nevo Ki Shudada, Hovisha Nilkada Kiryatayim Hovisha Hamiskav V'chata. So about Moab, God says, Nevo shall be ravaged. We know Nevo, that's where Moshe was buried, a place called Har Nevo, so it's in the territory more or less of Moab, and it will be ravaged. Kiryatayim will be captured and shamed, the stronghold shamed and dismayed. We're mentioning places, specific places in Moab where things are going to be destroyed. Eino tilat Moab b'cheshbon chashvu aleha ra l'chuven achritena migoy gam madmein tidomi acharayich telech charav. Moab's glory, it's gone. Heshbon, another city, the most important of all the Moabite cities, evil is planned against it. Right? The enemies are saying, come, let us make an end of the nation. You too will be silenced. The sword is following you. Kol tzaka mechoronayim shod vashever gadol. A voice is coming out, a cry from Charonayim, destruction and utter ruin. That's going to be the response of the Moabites to the destruction that's happening, presumably, from the Babylonians. Nishbara Moab ishmuza akat ireha. Moab is broken. Her young ones cry aloud. Kima alei haluchit bibchi ale bechi ki v'morad choranayim saritz akat shever shameo. They climb up to a place called Luchit, but they're crying, and they're descending then to Choranayim with a distressed cry. Nusu maltu nafshechem tienekar rare bamidbar. Flee, run away to save your lives, like Aroer. Run into the desert. Kiyan bit cheich b'maasayich vatrotayich gam at tilkedi v'yatzach emosh b'galak koanav v'sarav yachtav. Surely, because of your trust in your wealth and your treasures, you thought you were going to be safe, but that's not the case. You're all going to be sent into exile. The avo shodei, the ravager, will come. Yesterday we talked about that same word shodei, which seemed to, within the context of Gaza, related to Ashdod. Here it's just the same word. This ravager, this destroyer is coming. El kol ir va'ir lo timalei va'avad ha'emek v'nishmat ha'mishur asher amar Adonai. No town will escape. The valley will be devastated, will be laid waste because God has spoken. Give wings to Moab, for she will, right? She's going to have to run away. So give her wings to fly quickly. Her cities will become, her towns, desolate. Nobody will be there. Arur osei melechet Adonai rimya va'arur moneach charbo midam. Cursed be the one who is lazy in doing God's work. Cursed be the one who withholds his sword from blood. Right? God wants this to happen. He wants the Moabites to be destroyed. He wants it to happen. Let it happen quickly and swiftly. Shanan Moab min Urav v'shoketu al shmarav v'lo hurak mikli al keli uvagola lo halach al kein amad tamo bo v'reicho lo namar. Moab has been secure for all time, but that's not going to continue. That's not going to be the way. His bouquet at this point is unspoiled, is the last words of the verse, but it's not going to remain. Lachain, we're in verse 12, pasuk Yibet. Hinei amim ba'anu ma'adonai v'shilachti lo tzoim v'tzei uhu v'chelav yariku v'nivleihem yinafusu. So days are coming, and I'm going to send people who are going to empty his trash and smash his vessels and his jars. It's going to be destroyed. Uvosh Moab mikmosh. Moab will be shamed because of what happens in the city of Mosh. Kasher boshu beit Yisrael mi beit El miv techam. Just as the house of Israel was shamed because of Beth El, when Beit El was destroyed. Beit El was a place, one of the two places where Yeravam ben Nevat, the first king of the breakaway of the Malchut Yisrael, was one of the two places he put one of his Eglei Zahab. So just like Bnei Yisrael were embarrassed, you are going to be embarrassed. How will you be able to say Moabites that were warriors, that were strong, valiant men? Moab is ravaged, destroyed. His choice men have gone down to slaughter. That is God's decree. Karov, Aid Moab, Lavov, Ratoma, Ramaod. The doom of Moab is coming close. His downfall is happening. Mehera is happening soon. Nudulo Kosviva v'chol Yodei Shemo. Imru Echa Nishbar Mateos Makel Tifara. So, right, to go find him, those who live near him, all you know him by name, say, at last, he is broken. What was Tifara, what was Tiferet, what was glory, is now destroyed. Redeem Michavod, Ushvi, Vatsama, Yoshevet, Bat Dibon, Kishodei, Moab, Allah, Bat Vach, Shichet, Miv, Tsarayach. Descend from your glory, Moab, the ones who lived in the city of Divon, because Moab is ravaged, it's destroyed, all of its Mivtsarayach, all its fortresses are destroyed. El derech omdi v'tzapio shevet aroer. Stand by and look out, those who live in Aroer. Shali nasvidim latayim rima nihayata. And ask, what has happened? Why is everybody running away? Hovish Moab. Again, Moab is shamed, it's embarrassed. Ki chata. Lilu uzaku agidu varnon ki shudad Moab. So cry out, scream, tell all of Arnon that Moab is destroyed. Mishpat ba'al eretz hamishor. Judgment has come upon the land of Mishor, El Cholon, ve'el Yatsa, ve'el Meifa'at. To Chalon, to Yaz, to Meifa'at, all names of places. We have more places. Val Divon, Val Nevo, Val Beit Divlatayim, Divon and Nevo, in this place called the house of Divlatayim, Val Kiryatayim, Val Beit Kamul, Val Beit Ma'on. And upon these places, Val Kiryot, Val Batsra, this happened to the places in Moab that are close. Presumably, Yirmiyahu was talking from Israel, so the places that are closest to the Jordan River, or closer to the Jordan River on the eastern bank, because Moab is on the eastern side of the Jordan River, to the places that are further east, further away. Nigda'a Karen Moab the might of Moab has been cut down. His strength is broken. That's what God says. So get him drunk. He thought he was so great, he could stand up to God. Moab will vomit till it's drained. And he will become a laughing stock, a schok, much like Bnei Yisrael. We're told so many times by Yirmiyahu that they're the ones who are going to be shamed. They're the ones who are going to be the mockery. They're the ones who's going to be the synonym with destruction and a joke. And now it is not. It is Moab who is being told they're going to be the laughing stock. Wasn't Israel life's laughing stock to you? Wasn't he the one who was caught? Wasn't he the one that you shake his head and make fun of him? Izvu arim v'shichnu v'asela yoshvei Moab ayu chiyonat tikanein be'evri pi pachat. Desert the cities and dwell in the cliffs and the crags. Inhabitants of Moab, be like a dove that nests in the sides of a pit. You're going to be running away. You're going to have no place. Shamanu gaon Moab, ge'eh ma'od gavu gono v'gavato v'rum libo. We've heard of your pride, Moab, of your arrogance, your haughtiness. Ani yadati, in verse 30, God says, I knew of his at Evrato. I knew of his insolence, of his wickedness. That's what I knew you were. You're so prideful, Moab. You're so arrogant. You thought you were in control of everything. Al Cain, therefore, in verse 31, Al Moab, I Yelil, Ulu Moab Kula, Ezak, El Anshe Kir Cheres Yega. Therefore, I will cry out for Moab. I will moan for the people of Kir Cheres. Right? Destruction is going to happen. Bibchi Yazer Ef Kelach Hagefen Sivma Netishotayich Avruyam Ad Yam Yazer Nagau Al Kitzeich V'Al B'tzirech Shodei Nafal. With great weeping, great crying for the city of Yazer, I cry for you, the Geffen, the vine of Sivma, right? Your tendrils crossed the sea. They were so strong it reached all the way to Yazer. But again, the Shodei, the ravager, is coming down, and he's going to destroy everything. He's just going to destroy everything that you have. In Asfa, Simcha, V'Gilmei, Carmel, Meretz Moab. Rejoicing and gladness are gone from the farmland, from the country of Moab. V'yayin mikavim hishbati, lo yidroch heidad, lo heidad. I put an end to your wine presses. No one shreds the grapes with shouting. The shout is a shout no more. This Heydad, we had words like that back in the book of Yeshaya that describe similar things. In fact, this whole chapter is similar. Yeshaya also has a chapter about the destruction of Moab and has a lot of similarities to this chapter. Miza'akat cheshbon ad alalei, ad al el alei, ad yahatz natnu kolam mitzor ad chornayim eglat shli shia ki gam me nimrim. There was an outcry again. Goes back to Cheshbon and Alalei and it was heard all the way in Yachaz and from Soar, all the different places. All of these places are going to become desolate. They're all going to be destroyed. And I'll make an end of Moab, says God, of those who offer at their shrines and burn incense to their gods. Alkain Yitrat Asa Avadu. Therefore, my heart moans for Moab, like a flute, like my heart moans for the people of Kircheres. Therefore, the gains they have made shall vanish. Moab will be destroyed. For every head is bald and every beard is shorn. We talked about this yesterday. Signs of mourning that Bnei Israel were told not to do. I'll call Yadayim Gidudot al Matnayim Sak. On all of the hands there are gashes. We talked about that. There was 2. Not to shave your head bald, the Torah says, out of mourning, and not to scarify, not to gash your face. And that's what the Moabites will be doing. They will be wearing as well loins and sackcloth. I'll call Gagot Moab Kulo Mispei Ki Shavarti at Moab Kichli Ein Chefetz Bo Nu'um Adonai. All of the roofs of Moab's and the squares, there's nothing but crying out. There's nothing but lamentations. For I've broken Moab like a vessel no one wants. And right, we've had in this book earlier, we talked about the vessel, we talked about the potter and his vessel and the destruction of it and not being able to put it together. It wasn't only Bnei Yisrael. Here, in a less poetic way, it's being told to us about Moab. Right, you're dismayed, you cry out, how has it happened that Moab is such a shame that's become a laughing stock, that all the shame is so close to him? We're in verse 40. God says, just like the eagle soars and spreads out his wings against Moab, kriot shall be captured, and the strongholds will be seized, they will be taken. And that day, Moab's warriors will be like their hearts, their emotions will be like the heart of a woman who is in pain. I don't know if this refers to, oftentimes that word that's used, it oftentimes refers to birth pains, birth pangs. I don't know if that's exactly the allusion here, but and continuing, pachad vapach. Alecha Yoshev Moab Nu Adonai, terror and pits and traps upon you who dwell in Moab. So this is right. There's just over and over again. There's going to be destruction. There's going to be more, and those are basically the same words we talked about. The 24th chapter, the book of Yeshaya, uses the basic same language. Yeshaya says pachad v'pach, the same first 3 words, and the same 4th word alecha, then the same 5th word Yoshev. And then he doesn't use the word haaretz, but Yeshaya uses the word haaretz where we have Moab Nu'um Adonai. But it's the same exact word, same destruction. Yeshaya might have predicted it hasn't happened yet, which doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And how is this going to play out? He who flees from the terror, from the pachad, will fall into the pachat, into the pit. And he who climbs out of the pit will be caught into the pach, into the trap. That's what's going to happen to Moab during their time of doom. Betzel cheshbon amdu mikoch nasim ki esha tzami cheshbon ulava mibein sichon v'tochal pa'ad Moab v'katkod b'nei Shaon. In the shelter of Cheshbon, fugitives will be exalted because of the fire that's come from Cheshbon, the flames from Sichon, consuming all of Moab, all of Shaon. Oy lecha Moab avad am kamosh ki luklu banecha b'shevi uvnatecha b'shivya. Cry out, you people of Moab, you people from the city of Kamosh, a part of Moab. because your sons are carried off into captivity, your daughters into exile. And here, just like we said, we talked about this with Egypt. We didn't have it with Gaza, but in the end, God will restore the fortunes of Moab in days to come. Thus is the judgment of Moab. What has Moab done wrong that's so terrible that they're getting these disastrous pronouncement towards them? Unclear to us. An enemy of Israel, maybe the things they've done to Bnei Israel, maybe it's just part of the fact that they were, the Babylonians are coming in and destroying everybody. But the Moabites, much like the Israelites, will get a chance to return. And so here we said a number of chapters here about the Yirmiyahu being the Navi Goyim, the prophet to the nations. And sadly for the nations, it's not just Bnei Israel who he tells all these terrible warnings and terrible things that are going to happen, but he tells them to these other nations as well.